Thank God that worked. I've had some really weird computer issues today, Dan. Is everything okay your end? Okay, it must just be me then. It's just a glitch. Don't worry about it. I'll just continue. Hi, my name's Chris. I'm a performer, writer, creator, and co-organizer of Pride Comic Arts Festival. Today, I'm hosting this game of Pick Me for the Explorers of Elsewhere. Pick Me was created by Brian Sago and uses the trophy RPG system. You can find Pick Me on itch.io. It is a Christmas-based collaborative storytelling game with a play to lose ethic and a general theme of disappointment. So don't expect this to end happy. You need to know that safety tools are in place, like the X card and lines and veils, to protect myself and the players. It might involve swearing, some weirdness, and some elements of horror, so please consider this your content warning. All of our players will be playing a misfit toy who will struggle to be the lone one loved the most by the child. Yeah, I'm sure things aren't right. Stuff is happening. I'll do a quick reboot, and then if while I'm doing that, you could all introduce yourselves. Don't introduce your character, just who you are, and I'll be right back.
I guess I'm at the top of the screen, so I shall start. My name is Carl Dudesh, member of the Explorers of Elsewhere channel. I've just been part of the last season, and I've run a couple of games on the channel as well. I'm a big-time TTRPG fan, and I'm really looking forward to playing this game.
I am DM Dan, and I am part of the Explorers of Elsewhere, and I am excited to be chosen the inevitable winner of this Christmas lark.
Please.
I am Lawrence. I don't know what I'm doing here. Help. They forced me into it.
Welcome to the channel, Lawrence.
And I am Nate, also known as Nate Adam Art, Instagram, and you know me, you've seen my face before.
Yeah.
Do we know where Chris is?
Yeah, how's that restart
Oh.
going, Chris?
Oh God. Not again. Happens every year.
Oh, I didn't realise this was going to have a content warning.
Is this YouTube safe? Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Chris.
Got a hat. Got sequins on it. Hello.
So the video problem sorted?
They look fine. Great.
Are you okay?
I
dubious.
I changed.
He's full of Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
Someone's let him at the Christmas spirits.
I wish. Greetings, everyone from Explorers of Elsewhere. Consider the beginning your content warning. It's only going to get probably weirder from here. But thank you all for joining us for this game of Pick Me. I will explain as we go along the roles as we see fit. But we will start as we mean to go on. I think we'll start. Do you know what? I think the best thing to do to start this is for me to just give you a little poem. How do we feel about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
Something
Yes,
nice.
Get us in the feels for the season.
Something Christmassy.
Little poetry slam to get us going.
Child, please to bed. I need my rest. I am Grandma, not one to test. The man in red arrives so soon. You, Santa, sees so bright the moon. The elves did craft all you desire. He left your gifts there by the fire. They say your heart has space for one. So dark, I pray that they are wrong. From yellow windows rimmed with frost, I weep, the child is truly lost. Do they desire just one trophy? The child will make a choice. As we scoot our butts into the beginning of our journey, keep that in mind. Ring 1. A large man dressed in a red suit with fur, snow white fur draped across the bottom of his trousers, settles into a rocking chair. I think the whole building can feel the weight of this man. He lights a pipe. It blows smoke and bubbles all at the same time and reaches into a stack of massive unread mail. With a bone-handled letter opener, he tears open into a wish from the child. The handwriting is full of hope and want. Some letters reversed, some words curved where the writing meets the edge of the paper and didn't quite leave enough space. I still do that to this day. The child hasn't finished writing all that they had to say, but they gave it a go. And the letter describes you, each of you. So let's figure out what's in Santa's sack. Carl, you first.
Well, there's been a really hot new TV show in this world. It's really got the kids in a storm. It's known as the Transformosaurs, like robots that transform into dinosaurs, and critics have called it surprisingly modern and inclusive for a show about warring robots. But these two warring sides, the Crustaceans, the good guys, fight against the evil Jurassicons, and the Crustaceans are led by this one character, the mighty T-Rex by the name of Doug, or all Crustaceans are named after like forms of digging, but Doug, the heroic leader, who transforms into the mighty T-Rex and is paired with the human Gary. And
What? Why does the child desire you? And what promise do you offer that no other toy can match, but don't describe your customization just yet?
everyone wants the leader of the Crustaceans. I mean, he's like the biggest of the all the characters, you know, and every kid loves the mighty T-Rex. Like, he transforms into a very well detailed version of the T-Rex. It looks great in both forms, and just every kid wants it. And if you're the kid on the playground to have Doug, well, that's it. You're made for life.
Thank you very much. Dan, could
Hello.
you introduce your character, but don't introduce your customization, and I will ask you the same question.
Sure. With a large, cheeky, smirky grin, Ringo is a cool limited edition glam rock monkey, sporting electric blue lightning bolt face paint from the eyes, a neon green mohawk that runs all the way down to his tail. Under, like, framed in a like a distressed denim jacket with no sleeves. The symbols attached to Ringo's hands are covered in sort of like bubblegum pink and electric yellow stars. And there's a somewhat of a maniacal energy behind those big staring eyes.
And why does the child desire you? And what promise do you offer that no other toy can match?
Well, you see, Ringo is the drummer of the famous Frankie Fuzznot band, which is currently a toy line that's taking the nation by storm. And the glam rock Ringo, that's a rare commodity right there.
Thank you very much. New player to the channel, Lawrence. Thank you, Lawrence, for stepping in very last minute to play this game and not really knowing what you're getting into. But please go ahead and introduce your toy.
Wet Leonard is the cutest, but perhaps most pitiful cuddly toy on the market. Look, kids these days, they need to learn responsibilities, and Wet Leonard teaches children to look after things and care and attend to the needs of others through his interactive features like crying when you take his bone away and doing a little wee when there's a loud noise. Yeah, that's Wet Leonard.
Why does the child desire you so much? And what promise do you offer that no other toy can match?
Well, the pride of getting Wet Leonard's little tail wagging when you give him a big cuddle and knowing you've done a good job looking after him. That feeling is unmatched. You know, you're not going to feel love like that.
Very good. Thank you. Nate, would you like to do the same? Please introduce your character without using any of the customization hints.
So everyone knows that a child's greatest love is AI technology, even if it is faux AI technology. So Boomy is the alien that learns as you play with it more. You have to talk to it, you have to feed it, you have to learn responsibilities. Don't worry about Wet Leonard, that's no responsibility.
Instant rivalry.
Boomy sort of interacts with you and grows grows with its learning as you play with it. Often sort of giggling and laughing even when you're not expecting it to. So it's almost like a real creature, but in a weird alien form.
Very nice. I think we already understand why the child desires you, but if you want to go into more why the child desires you and what promise do you bring that no other toy can match?
I promise the latest technology. Obviously, in a cute, large-eyed, wiggly-eared entity.
Maybe also direct links to certain purchasing sites.
Yes, Boomy does also have to be connected to your Wi-Fi to work.
The worst kind, just like logging all of that data. Thank you very much, each of you. I'm now going to go round you all once more and have a think about what fear your toy might have, and please record it on the relevant sheet. You can treat it like a condition if it's something useful for your character to take on. Something that your toy might fear If you need some suggestions, you could have some sort of fear of being unwanted. How might you fall short of the child's desires, perhaps? A fear of being second best. How might you be inadequate as a toy? Fear of the man in red. This mysterious large figure that you've heard about, but never seen as yet. But you know of him through lore. What does his jolly nature conceal? Where does he get all of that coal? How does he know so much about being naughty? What are the rumours about his source of his boot black? What happens to the letters from hopeful children after Santa reads them? Carl, we'll once again start with you.
I think being a character known as like the leader, like he needs to feel superior, and I think he has a sort of bit of a superiority complex. If he's not the most, the most interesting or the most exciting thing in the room, he gets a bit, it's crippling for him to not be the best.
So feeling inferior.
Yeah, I think that's sort of
What I've noted down. Okay, great. Thank you. Dan, any ideas about Ringo? I should actually start like accessing you by your character names. So, sorry, Ringo.
Yes.
What is your greatest fear as a toy?
I think my greatest fear, as Ringo is part of the the Frankie Fosnot band, I worry that my value is diminished without the presence of Frankie, the lead singer, and uh, and Benny, the guitarist, and Chico, the bassist, and they compromise the rest of the band. They are also glam rock versions that I'm a part of the set of, but I haven't seen them for a while. Perhaps they've already been picked.
Not without the band, like not
Yeah.
the same.
Even Chico, the bassist, has been picked before me.
Oh, that could break somebody's heart somewhere right there. Lawrence, we'll go down to you, or should I say, Wet Leonard? Do you prefer Wet Leonard to the full title, or just Leonard?
No, it has to be Wet Leonard.
Full title, Wet Leonard. Wet Leonard. What are your fears?
Well, foremost is abandonment. He thrives off of the attention of others. But he's also really not the kind of dog you want to take for a walk because he's terrified of the outdoors, with all the dangers and loud noises and other dogs that might steal his bone. He's much happier curling up on the sofa or on someone's lap and getting a cuddle.
Delicious. Love it. Boomy, what are your fears?
being
I think-
disconnected, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I think Boomy's ultimate fear is actually powering down. Like, how can Boomy talk to the child? How can Boomy connect to their parents' phone? How can Boomy, find which FBI agent is listening in? So so Boomy's fear is losing power and powering down.
So power cuts not your thing.
Wi-Fi black
Weathers.
spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi black spots. Not good. Does Boomy have a 5G card like tucked somewhere deep inside for that like backup data just in case?
That's extra.
That's
It's a pain having to put credit on it all the time.
Yeah.
I keep booping it. Thank you very much, everyone. The child has requested you, and you specifically, all of you. The man in red sits back with his pipe in his hand, gives it a few puffs, blows out this big plume of white smoke, which turns into a large question mark in the sky. He mutters something under his breath, which sounds a little bit like, seems like more than one child can handle. We will see. We will see. And we move swiftly to ring 2, just like that. This is the moment of your creation. So if you think back to what was happening, give your reason to nature, if you wish. A team of elves, a bit like myself, wearing similar hats, slightly better attached than mine.
And similar tights.
And similar tights, yeah. And similar hot pants. Santa's elves are very cool.
Santa has a type.
They're not all beardy. Some are. Some aren't. Santa's not that picky about his elves. But he is very particular. And they go around and they assemble you part by part. The air is lit by this green glow of an aurora borealis. That's a word I didn't think I would have to say today. Didn't think about. Some tiny orange oil-lit lamps illuminate the work of the elves. The sound of saws and hammers and murmuring in the workshop. A gentle Arctic snow wisps across the ground. Oh, could you possibly tell me what jolly songs the elves might sing every year to pass the time?
Gangnam Style.
Work 5.
Yeah.
The Million by Slipknot.
We're in the power hour, I see.
Yeah.
How do we know, or how would the people know outside of the elves? How would we know that the elves cannot leave? They're not allowed.
The piles of ash by the front door and the slight blue glow around the edge, that once they pass through that barrier, they just... The ash is left there as a warning.
Vaporized into dust.
I also imagine that there are a number of sort of like candy cane pylons throughout the workshop, and there's like a number of red and green stripy like cords that are attached to the smalls of the backs of the elves, so they can't get too far away. And there's a beautiful dance where they all sort of and then have to unravel.
Like a massive maypole,
Yeah,
but a
Christmas
December
maypole.
pole.
Yes,
They're just a
Yes.
giant rat king.
I was also thinking candy cane bars on the windows, if there are any windows.
Yeah, there's definitely windows, but there's definitely bars on those windows. They are frosted over, so nobody really can see what outside has to bring. It's constantly snowing.
I like to also think there are just some snarling reindeers by the front door as well.
Just the growls of flesh-eating reindeers.
How would one of them sabotage their own work to subvert the man in red?
Unionized.
Yeah.
Slipping union ballots inside the parcels in the stuffing.
And hopefully getting the message out to the wider world when Santa delivers, when the man in red, should I say, delivers.
Yeah.
Wet Leonard, inside your box nestled inside your presenty box, you feel down by the side of you a small slip of paper. And picking it up, you look at it, you take a look at it. Whose name is on that list? Whose name is on this bit of paper? And how did they let you down?
How did they let me down?
Yeah. I didn't say this was pleasant. There are warnings. But yeah, feel free.
Um,
Has Wet Leonard been rejected before, perhaps? And this is a second attempt to reach.
I think it's perhaps one of the elves.
Okay.
I think the elf that was testing my cuddling mechanics. I thought we had something.
Oh no.
They were just testing. They were just testing me. It just said,
As the elf was testing you, I just got the feeling he's just seeing how hard you need to squeeze for that potential, like whether the bone pops out or whether the wee comes out. So he's testing the strength of the boundaries of your very existence.
yeah.
The strength of your liquid seal.
Yeah. As this happens, I would love you to make me a ruin roll.
Okay.
So, just for explanation, ruin is a number that runs from 1 to 6 in trophy. And whenever I ask people to make a ruin roll, something they are looking to roll a number that is less than, from memory, I could be wrong by that, than their current ruin. And if they achieve that, then their ruin doesn't go up. And it basically depicts the unraveling and the way that the toy loses touch with reality and their own sentience, so to speak.
So is this one dark die?
Yeah, if you have the roll tab up, there is a ruin slider, and you can just click roll on ruin, and it will tell me the right thing with any luck. Okay,
That
Oh,
sounds
no.
that's
bad.
good. You are good. You managed to your ruin goes up if it's less than 6. This is fine. This is fine. You're fine. But in that squeeze, he squeezes just a little bit too hard, just a little bit, and that rubber seal has just started to fray a little bit, and there's a little leakage. Oh no!
No one likes a leaky dog.
I didn't think continents would come so soon.
Your ruin goes up by 1. It's fine. You'll be fine. Don't worry. It's early days. I'm going to go around all of you one more time, and let's kind of add a bit more flavor. So I'd also like you to describe your customization from that extra squeeze and losing that ruin. Lawrence, sorry. Oh, sorry. Wet Leonard. Must remember to call you by your character name.
Yeah, my customization is weeps a lot.
Yeah.
From both ends of the sound.
Yeah, all the holes.
So we've dealt with why Wet Leonard is weeping more than normal from this time. Where is Wet Leonard's fill hole? Do I want to know?
It's sort of like,
Should I ask this question?
Another word you didn't think you were here today.
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's just concealed in like the collar. You know, you kind of
Right.
lift up a flap in the collar, and yeah, it's in the back of the neck.
It comes with a tiny funnel. You
Yeah.
can make sure it all goes in. Great. Paul, could you describe your customization to us, and if we feel like making a defect for it, then we can look into that. Your ruin is already pretty high, but let's see what happens.
I mean, it should be no surprise with a name like the Transformosaurs that they are more than meets the eye. They are a transforming toy that goes from robot to dinosaur. I mean, if anyone's ever played with Transformers in the past, you'll know that bits always seem to get stuck or don't quite twist into place. They have that nice sort of, they don't always look as perfect as they should be. Always like one bit sticks out slightly.
You get that crunching noise that's not a good crunching noise.
Yeah, or that like the lots of clicking. You're not quite sure if the clicking is meant to be happening as you put things into place. And as this is meant to be more of sort of like organic shape, just there's so much twisting and bending.
Love it. Once again, during testing, I think maybe it is even the same elf. Maybe there's only ever one elf that tests all of the toys.
This elf needs to be thrown through the door.
Little bit rough. A little bit rough with it. Doug, can you make me a ruin roll, please?
I can happily make you a ruin roll. A ruin roll.
Okay. It gets easier as your ruin goes up to not be more ruined. It's fine. It's fine. Whilst transforming the T-Rex out of its T-Rex form, there is a crunching noise as the spring in the head kind of like just unlatches itself, and it's just a little floppy now. It can still attach, and when it attaches, it still goes click. It just no longer has that nice spring pop off that then allows you to unmangle yourself. How does that affect you as a toy?
To have not that smooth sort of like motion of flicking it back, it's now like it goes back quite hard, so he can't dramatically transform, and that annoys him dramatically. Everything has to be smooth, it has to be cool. He is a cool toy. Like
Yeah,
this is the toy of the season. Like, he has to be cool.
Ringo, we'll go to you next.
Yes. Hello.
In your creation, there is a bit of confusing information on the blister pack from the blister pack elf. How is your packaging utterly wrong?
So, it turns out that there were actually two sort of like versions of the Glamrock Ringo model line, like a toy line. And on the front of the box, it says, wind him up and watch him go. But in the box itself, there's no like plastic turnkey to wind him up. There is, in fact, just like a pull string.
Right.
The problem with that being that you can't get as much like longevity on the pull string as you can with a really enthusiastic turnkey.
Could you also make me a ruin roll, please?
Absolutely. Click, click, click. Oh, it's going up.
In the manufacturing of said pull string, I think they were trying to make it slightly more Christmassy, perhaps, and use one of those like threaded tinsel sort of style pull strings. And I think it's just it's got some wear and tear on there where it's just catching on the side a little bit.
Doesn't go all the way back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe your operation is not as good as it should be.
Because when you pull it, that's what makes the cymbals go, and the eyes blinking alternatively, and the feet go.
And we turn to Boomy, the AI of toys. In the gift wrapping section, an elf is putting together your final touches and putting together whether it's been painted on eyes or stuck on eyes or putting bits into places. Trouble is, he's a clumsy oaf. He fumbles and something happens. What's off in your final touches? What isn't quite right with Boomy?
So Boomy's tummy is meant to smell of blue raspberry. But the elf has forgot to put that blue raspberry smell in. So if a child does go up and smells Boomy, they just smell the battery acid that's coming from their little mouth.
Definitely make me a ruin roll on that.
Oh no, just so close.
Again, your ruin goes up, so you go up to 3. Yes.
Yes.
Did mine go up as well? Sorry, I can't tell.
Yeah, it did. It did. I altered it.
Oh, you altered it.
Yeah, I altered it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. As you are all sitting in the sack, you hear from somewhere in the distance this discordant, weird noise. And every 10 minutes, it just kind of not quite sure what it is. And then you think about it some more, and one of you recognizes this sound. It's, of course, the fabled Sergeant Sockham McFisto, the fabled army character from way back. Which one of you has a vendetta about with Sergeant Sockham McFisto? And what is the vendetta about? Please discuss.
Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna take this because it's the original heroic action TV series of the 80s that everyone bases every modern action cartoon on. So Doug is always compared to being Sergeant Soccer McFisto.
The noise keeps happening. And you know that once Sergeant Soccer McFisto has been unwrapped, you'll know that he's just calling this is the orders that he gives. He has 3 different sayings. Would anybody other than Carl like to give me one saying that Sergeant Soccer McFisto likes to say?
Sock 'em with the fist. Right up.
What time period is Sergeant Sockham McFisto? Is he?
I mean, he's timeless, really. I mean, every year he gets a revamp. Even though the voice hasn't changed, this year he's based on a Sean-headed butch lesbian.
But it was the character was still played by a man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jason
Of
Statham.
course. Jason Statham. Statham. Geezer.
I reckon, in such a way that it just about skirts the copyright infringements. Perhaps it's time for action, man.
I like that. It's time for action, man. I'm going to write that.
Man.
Yeah, action,
Yeah.
comma, man. That's very important. The comma is massively important.
The comma is worth millions upon millions in copyright lawsuits.
And in my head, like maybe the actor needed like 5 to 10 takes to get it right.
Yes. Yes. To really enunciate the comma.
Yeah.
What was your quote, Nate? Sorry, I didn't quite catch it.
Like, sock 'em with the fist. Right up. Just right up is his like catchphrase, so it has to go at the end.
I like it. I like it. Right up. Again, comma, right up.
Column. I can't talk this morning.
It's fine. It's early. Rinse. Praise for Sergeant Soccer McFisto comes to your mind.
A nice simple one. You can't handle the fist.
Okay.
It's similar to
Surely
the.
it needs the comma right up at the end.
Well, yeah. Come over.
Okay. We've created a penultimate evil. This
Is
is
there like a stealth SAS version of Sergeant Sockham, which is like nobody expects the fist.
whenever he's got like one of those little buttons on the back that makes him do that movement. And a special extra little phrase whenever you press it. You're gonna get fisted. Out of context, it's fine.
I really hate that guy.
Now, all of you are striving to be the best toy that you can be, and you're not even like out of the box yet. You're still kind of like tucked away somewhere deep in Santa's grotto. Let's go in reverse order this time. Nate, what hope does Boomy have? And I will record it on the character sheet. Does Boomy have a particular hope in mind about what they want for life?
Boomy just wants to learn as much as they can. Like learn from the child how to laugh and how to talk and how to obtain interesting information that they might know where they live, how to obtain your GPS. You know, fun stuff like that.
Permissions based.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Let's go in a really different order. Ringo, should I say? What hope does Ringo have? Does Ringo hope to find the rest of the band?
I hope that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just straight up. Because the beautiful thing is, if you kind of activate all 4 of the band at the same time, then we all sort of like play together. It all kind of syncs up quite nicely. Just I don't know why everyone else in the band would be doing this motion, but that's how you play guitar, right?
The guitar in one hand is just like slapping the guitar.
Yeah. Because because my value is kind of exponentially grows in the presence of the rest of the band.
Yeah, that resale value becomes just that much higher.
Perhaps Actually, I'm going to veto that.
Sure.
Given that I don't know where the rest of the band are, perhaps I hope that I can become the first drummer in history whose name is actually known.
That the drummer is the lead of the band.
Yeah. Just like outside the context of like actually people actually know what my name is rather than just the drummer from the hang on, I've got to say the name right. The drummer from the Frankie Fuzznot band.
Yeah.
Like, what if they know me as Ringo?
You want to be the toy Phil Collins.
Who's Phil Collins?
Exactly.
Is he a guitarist? He sounds like a guitarist.
Or the toy version of Dave Grohl. Yeah.
He's a vocalist.
Vocalist slash guitarist slash yeah.
That's all he does. That's all he
Too
does.
talented for his own good. That's his jig. Doug, what's Doug's hopes?
Veneration. Like, he wants to eventually be sort of like, you know, he knows how important like these action toy lines are and how they end up on, you know, display cabinets. You know, he wants to be played with. Like, he wants to be the talk of the playground, and then one day he wants to be in a display cabinet. Like, the point of pride.
Sold at some weird
Hell yeah.
retro Comic-Con at some point in time.
Exactly, like
strange greasy fellow who
like hideously sought after on like whatever eBay will be at that time. Like people like looking for like these versions of Doug.
I like it. That brings us finally to Wet Leonard. Wet Leonard's hopes.
Wet Leonard wants peace.
Not a piece.
No.
To
find his courage. I mean, really, ideally, someone to love and care for him. But failing that, he will kind of just be happy if he's just left alone in a blanket somewhere, without being exposed to the threats and horrors of the world. Somewhere quiet.
Okay.
We're out in the countryside, in a nice little cozy cottage.
Nice. Dreams of a small cafe that has like 3 people come in during the week, and yet it still operates, and there he is tucked up in a little warm blankie.
Yeah.
Never.
The fact that you paraphrase that as soft, warm blankie.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
If Wet Leonard has any quibbles about that, then that's fine. You can quibble it by all means. Remember, I'm not forcing anything on you apart from your own doom, which will happen sooner or later, and has already begun. I think it has to be. We've got one more thing to kind of cover, and feel free to dip into this. And this might be our first risk roll. Boomy, the security elf, has taken note of your operational kind of facilities, and has pulled you aside for some questioning. Why?
I think the security elf is a little bit concerned about how much Boomy is just is kind of going like, "Hi, connect me, connect me, connect me," and I think the security elf is finding that a little bit sus.
With this incessant, should I use that word correctly? Demand, because that's how I'm seeing it, as a demand, even without like pressing a button.
Yeah, it's just woken up.
It's become its own thing. And he pulls you to one side, and the security elf looks at you. Got a gruff, like unkempt face, scar over his right eye, wearing full security elf uniform, of course, shoulder pads out to here, or is it just he's built like a brick house? You're not quite sure, and you can see this through your eyes. And he pulls you aside, and he says, "What do you know? What do you know about the man in red?"
Boomy's just going to sort of look up, almost trying to be cute, but the eyes are so intense. It just sort of kind of looks up and goes, "Feeble." And that's it.
This sounds very much like you're taking a risk to try and
Yeah.
gain some benevolence with this elf. This is our first risk roll. The way that risk rolls work is the players will take some risks at some point in time, like this one, and they will tell me whether they're using part of their skills to help with this transaction. It sounds like Boomy is using one of their many skills.
I think Boomy's using distraction.
Yeah.
Maybe even resistance in a way, not sort of physically, but maybe mentally.
Yeah. So this is going to be hopefully pretty easy. What we're looking for is somewhere between a 4 to a 6, between a 4 and a 5. Then you get what you gain something from this transaction. From a 6, you definitely gain something with this transaction. Anything less than that, there is some sort of consequence. So I'm going to offer you 1 dark, 1 light dice. Would any other player like to offer a devil's bargain? And I'll quickly explain what that is for people at home. A devil's bargain is something that the other characters, or even Nate himself, can actually offer as a character to say, oh, no matter what happens during this transaction, this other thing will happen. It will give Boomy another chance to get 1 more light dice, which gives Boomy more chance to succeed in this transaction. So would anybody like to offer a devil's bargain?
I would offer a devil's bargain, but I'm wondering if I could also use my feature as well.
Even if you use just one of your feature, if you use either the skills from your tie line or your customization, you only get 1 light dice. You don't get 1 light dice for each. But you can use either or both in your storytelling, so to speak.
Yeah, I'll carry on as it is then.
I'd like to offer you a devil's bargain.
Okay.
As a sort of like, just so that people get a feel as to what devil's bargains can be. I think that no matter what happens, maybe one of the small laser-like devices behind the eyes of Boomy malfunctions just a little bit, just enough to fire directly into this elf's eye and slightly blinding him.
Yeah, go on then. I'll take that devil's bargain. Do you still want me to roll?
Yeah, but I want you to add 1 light dice to your roll. So that's 2 light, 1 dark.
Right. Na.
Oh. Oh. So what happens?
Dear.
So, like, it's good. You succeed. It's great. However, your ruin does go up by 1.
Right.
Which is fine. You know, you've still got... It's fine. You've still got like a little room to play with. I've increased your room by 1, and let's explore what that looks like. How do you... Tell me how you succeed in this transaction between you and this elf, and this part of you glitches enough to blind him in one eye.
I think the elf, he's sort of like not. He's not sort of like falling for this. He's kind of more sort of. He kind of pulls his face closer up to Boomy. Boomy's eye sort of twitches, like it sort of goes down and goes up again, and you can see that it's starting to malfunction, and then it just goes like that straight into it, and the elf is just like bang, like and he drops Boomy, and Boomy sort of just like rolls, just sort of rolls under out of the way, away from the elf.
Maybe it's the drop that causes the extra damage then.
Yeah.
Perhaps something dislodges, or maybe, I don't know, maybe you have an idea whether Boomy walks. Does Boomy move, or is Boomy a static toy?
No one has ever seen it move.
So should Boomy wish to, should Boomy move, that maybe Boomy now has a distinct limp or a distinct kind of noisy foot?
I think now, because people don't normally see Boomy move, now Boomy is slightly injured enough that he will be it will be noticed if it moves.
Yeah. In your conditions, I'm going to write injured foot. There you go. You can acquire more than one condition. It's just so that I keep track of it, so that I've got stuff to pull from. And we've all got stuff to pull from when we can order Devil's Bargains. That's how Devil's Bargains works, kids. Nate just rolled really badly. I could also offer you a reroll, and that would add 1 more dark dice.
Okay.
So should we want to retro that and like rewind the clock, and you can re-roll, but it would add 1 more dark dice, and you still might end up in the same spot.
I might still end up with, instead of, I mean, if I rolled high again on the dark dice, would that mean I go up to 5 ruin?
Nope, it would just kind of the same would play out.
Right. No, I'm all good. Booby's good.
Good. I shall try and remember to ask you if you want to re-roll before we narrate. Thank you very much for Boomy, who's had a chat with the security elf. And we glide our way through the preparations of Christmas into Ring 3. I'm looking at time. We're doing okay. What I'll do is I'll read this and I'll give you all something to think about, and we'll take a little break. An Arctic sunset followed by the glow of the aurora borealis just prior to liftoff. You can feel that you're in a sack and you are preparing. You can feel that there's like some sort of weird levitation happening in the bottom. You can feel like a vibration. You think that you're in a sack sat next to the man in red. In the distance, you can hear snorting and the gnashing of teeth as the reindeer are eager and ready to go. From behind, you'll hear, "This is ground control. Ground control to the man in red. You have full approval for departure." And you'll see various elves scramble towards the workshop and cracking open bottles of eggnog as they due to celebrate, because their work is now done. You have been made as a toy. You are ready. For you, what lies ahead is a nighttime sleigh ride In an airborne sleigh, the lights from the cities and towns flicker as puffs of breath from the reindeer drift by. But Santa takes a bit of an egocentric detour and decides to stop by a shopping mall, landing just on the top, having a look through the glass pane and thinking, call that a Santa. Black smoke drifts out of his mouth as he finds his way through and down in the lift, down to compete in the Santa costume contest. You are alone, or you think you're alone, in the sack, and you are all ready to just wait to see where the trip leads you. Have a think about how you might interact with what's going on inside the shopping mall, and we will come back and see what our toys want to do. If you want to interact at all, or maybe you want to reduce some of the other toys that are in the sack with you, so that you are the one chosen by the child. And we'll take a break.
See you in a bit.
And welcome back. Merry Christmas to the second part of Pick Me. We left our toys, our wonderfully, beautifully, perfectly made, not at all broken toys, in the sleigh. Santa had got out and decided to go and compete in the Santa costume contest. And I left them all with a question as to how they want to interact with said contest, should they wish to either encourage Santa or maybe reduce the number of toys that are in the sack. Would anybody like to dive in, or shall I offer you things, temptations?
Yeah, I think less the contest, but more the competition. I think Doug, doesn't like Ringo very much because, as you said, you're also one of the biggest franchises right now. Like, you're a hot sought after toy. Probably it's a cartoon that people like. While I'm action, you're like adventure. So there's a bit of animosity between Doug and Ringo, but he's also seeing that he's probably near to Wet Leonard's box, and he's reading the description. And when he reads the very simple line of is scared by loud noises, Doug starts tapping against his sort of thing to get Ringo's attention, like, Ringo.
Yes.
I'm curious, mate. Like, really curious. Like, I know you've got those big symbols, but I'm just wondering, can you really smack him together? Can you get some really good noise out of those things?
Not one to pass up the opportunity for a drum solo.
Cymbal solo.
Simple solo. Yeah. I mean, when I say I look at you, bear in mind that the spheres that are my eyes are only half embedded in my head, like they're visibly bulging.
And I'm probably just my face is only visible through a small plastic window in the box.
And yeah, I can do that. I can just give me a pull, just give me a tug. I can do that.
You need to be tugged. How disappointing. Surely you can wiggle yourself for a quick pull.
I can't tug myself. I've got symbols for hands. It ends in tragedy every time.
How did this get so raunchy all of a
What are
sudden?
you talking about, Chris? What are you talking about? Give me a pull. Give me a tug, and I'll smash the hell out of them.
Tell you what, if you get yourself out your packaging, you know, I'm sure you can like hook your ring pull on my box and give it a pull.
I'll kind of nod, and then with sort of like gentle motions in my arms back and forth, I'll just kind of wiggle out of the. I guess the chances are
Yeah.
I'm probably bound in with those kind of spinny.
It's
bits.
Toy Story. Feel free
Sure.
to break the rules of physics.
So through arm wiggling, I'll loosen my bonds until I can eventually pull myself free, and then giddy with excitement because this is my moment. Yeah, I'll turn my back. I'll find something to latch my pull string onto,
Nice.
and then I'll start it. And it's the Tinsley ring pull.
Yeah.
And then I'll start sort of like
Further,
running
further.
away, getting more excited until I feel the
As-
resistance.
As you run, you feel like the resistance get tighter and tighter to a point where you feel that it's at maximum. You are on the edge of the sled, and as you turn to look back at Doug, you see on the back of the sled there's a figure, a dark green figure, just like
Oh no.
fingers like held on to the sleigh. You can't see anything apart from a hand.
Are they furry?
Like
hairy?
not necessarily, no.
Okay.
There's fur, but it starts at the cuff.
Okay.
They're not green hands. They've got green arms.
Okay. Were presumably not expecting to see someone hanging onto the back of Santa's sled.
No,
Okay.
not that you know of.
Okay.
You think Santa's sled is like a sacred place, and like it's only driven by the big red man, and of course the reindeer.
Okay. I think the shock of seeing this unexpected stowaway makes me jump enough that whatever I latch my ring pull onto unlatches. And then a good what? Maybe a foot's worth of wind up.
Yeah. And you will go backwards. What are you attempting to achieve in this? Are you attempting to sort of like just make this loudest, clangiest noise that you can to disturb Leonard? Wet Leonard, should I say?
Well, I think that's Doug's plan, isn't it?
Yeah. That's plan.
What's your plan?
I mean, I just need a chance to shine.
Okay.
Sorry, are we still in flight at this point, or have we
No,
landed?
you've landed.
You've
You've
landed.
landed.
Okay.
You're on top of some shopping mall precinct
Sure.
with a glass roof.
And has Santa already gone down?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I reckon because I've wound myself up so much, I reckon there's enough oomph, there's enough juice in the tank that I can make it into the shopping mall, going along, and then someone will notice me.
This sounds very, very risky.
Mm.
Okay. So, what kind of skill would you like to add if you want to add a skill to add a light dice to your risk roll?
Skill. I mean, I do have a surprising amount of speed.
Mm.
And I reckon what my point of entry is an aircon vent.
Sure is.
And I'm hoping I can use my skills of ricochet as well.
Mm-hmm.
to dong, 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 and bounce through the pipes and the air vents until I merge into the inside.
The bottom.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's one dark, one light dice. Does anybody have a devil's bargain to offer Ringo to increase Ringo's chances of success? No?
My devil's bargain is no matter what, Ringo will actually lose the ring part of his pull string.
Oh.
So he'll still have the string, just be a bit harder to sort of get out.
Tweezer it first, then
Yeah.
re-knot it.
I like
Okay.
that. I like that a lot. Any more for any more? You don't have to take that, Ringo. You can come up with one yourself, or we can see if there's any others that are scooted around.
I was going to offer something very similar to Boomy, where it gets hooked on the vent as you come out, so you start, and then bing.
Yeah,
Okay.
we already know it's a bit threadbare. I'm gonna say, as a devil's bargain, that no matter what happens, when you hit the vent and kind of come out the other side, you are like caked in dust.
I will 100% take that. Just
The
this
John McClane of toys.
just this sooty. Because here's the thing. Okay, so I will happily take that, and I'll roll that into my narrative. So extra light dice.
Yes, one extra light dice for you. So that's one dark, two light.
Okay. I'm gonna keep my ring pull. I'm gonna come out a sooty mess. I've rolled 2 6s.
Oh,
A raw success, a beautiful raw success. So that means you get to do whatever it is that you want to do
Okay.
without, but you still need to take the consequence because you took the devil's bargain.
Absolutely. So as I like fly off back as I go, it's straight into the air vent down. Presumably people can hear the sounds of coming from the pipes overhead. And when I clonk 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 donk fall out of a hole, I lift my head and I'm just this blackened sooty mess with like each cymbal clap makes a puff of black soot. And the demonic nature of my being is only exacerbated by the fact that my eyes are flashing. And I look like a little chimney gremlin.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well done, Ringo.
And then my string runs out and I just stop.
Yeah. Stop in a closed position. That's the important part. A small child kind of runs past you and notices this strange blackened toy on the ground and points at it like, "Mommy," and tugs on its parents' skirts to try and attract attention. What are the rest of you? What does Doug think of this attempt?
Sort of watching as things didn't quite go to plan, but then he's sort of like, well, I guess that's one less. Who's next?
Like whittling the done. He's not dead yet, but he's gone for sure. Anybody else? Would anybody else like to do a thing before I throw some temptations or terrors your way?
I just want to add that Wet Leonard had already wet himself a bit on the sleigh ride with the noises of the reindeer and everything. It was quite traumatic for him.
Has the leakage got worse?
I think it's eased up for now. Yeah, he's kind of settled back in a bit, but yeah, it's still quite delicate.
How was the whole clapping and flashing monkey tearing past you on its way to like dive bomb into an air vent?
Yeah, that set him off again for sure. Bless him.
Because Wet Leonard is more sort of like a cuddly toy rather than sort of like an action figure or something that would be in a box. Am I guessing that Wet Leonard is just wrapped in paper? He's just wrapped
He's
in.
sort of like mounted in like an open box.
Right.
Right.
So a kid can you could get your hands around him, but he's kind of just like with wires or whatever, just on this mounted box so that he's a bit more stackable, but
Right.
pretty open.
Now sitting in a small pool.
Yeah. The whole bottom of him is just wet.
I mean, it's a shame the testing elf forgot to drain me before posting. Really, it should be fill up.
It does say on the box P not included.
Yeah. But yeah, the cardboard at the bottom is a bit soggy now, I would imagine.
A question for the three of you still in the sleigh. Taking just a moment to sort of peer out the sleigh, and you all kind of like see like this hand still just like clinging to the back, but peering into the actual gallery of the shopping mall itself, there is a massive, like slightly broken, glitching one of those roller ads that just rolls like halfway and then rolls back, and then rolls halfway and then rolls back, and then rolls a quarter and then rolls back. So it's just slightly broken as one of those adverts. And it's advertising last year's most popular toy. Does any of you have an idea what it might be? And how do you, as a toy, revel in their fading glory?
I'll take this one then. It, it is one of those dog toys that barks and does backflips.
Ah,
Yeah, one of that. And I am very glad to not be as annoying as that. I think I feel like it's just a bit too much, too much movement, too much noise. Kids don't want that. They want comfort. They want, safety. They don't need a dog that does tricks. They just need a dog that cuddles.
Boomy, Doug, how do you revel in their fading glory?
Well, Boomy obviously knows that this dog only operates on batteries, and that's it. It has no USB-C charging connection. It has no real interaction with the child. It doesn't learn. It doesn't grow, and that's obviously caused in the result of its fading glory. And so Boomy definitely does feel a little bit smug. And also, who just wants a normal dog nowadays? Surely just like a weird, multicolored, tree-smelling alien creature is much more entertaining.
Doug?
Doesn't even bloody transform, does it? It's just a dog. It's just a dog and a thing. Like, yeah, it was never a threat to me, was it?
From still inside the bag, you hear, "It's time for action, man!"
God, I hate that guy so much.
Popping out the bag, like fully out of his box, it's Sergeant Socker McFisto himself. He runs, takes a leap off and runs for the same vent that Ringo fell down and launches himself into the vent.
I can only hope the fans chew him up.
You hear, dunk, 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 dunk.
Does he also get covered in soot?
Yeah. I was going to do a very bad joke, but I stopped myself. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, future Chris, for stopping myself doing a very bad joke. Very wrong. Not good. Bring that one in. Yeah, so in your stopped state, Ringo, you are pushed and knocked over just slightly by Sergeant Sockham McFisto.
Yeah.
And when he gets to the bottom, he yells, "You can't handle the fist! Right up!"
Um, if we're kind of working on like Toy Story ish logics, presumably we can't be seen to not just be toys in the presence of people.
You would assume so.
Okay. So, and okay, so if he's just clattered into me and he's just spewed out one of his one-liners under the pretense that someone's just like pressed the button on him, how, like, who's around us? I'm guessing we've just like fallen from the ceiling, just like clattered to the ground.
It's not as busy as it should be,
Okay.
given that it's Christmas Eve, and you're on the way to kind of deliver the gifts to the child, the only one that matters. There are a couple of children in the distance, and they appear quite manic, I'm going to say.
Okay.
Running around quite avidly.
I can work with this. No one's like in our immediate vicinity. The kids are over there, right? Okay. In which case, I'll open one arm to push myself upright.
Yeah.
Um,
You've got a Shremek.
yeah. And then I'm going to. I need to hook my ring onto something. Sergeant Sockham's fists.
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking like big?
Yeah.
Rubbish. Okay. He's got a foot though, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna hook my ring onto his foot.
Are you saying his fists are too big for your ring?
Yes. Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying. Nate. Exactly what I'm saying.
You notice on one of Sergeant Sockham McFisto's feet, he's got one foot which has a Christmas sock on. Just one.
Even is it when you say Christmas sock, as in just stripy, or has it got like the weird elf hook on the toe?
It's got the weird elf hook.
Even better. Okay. Okay. So, because I know I can just on my wheels along, but Sockham won't be able to keep up with me because he'd actually have to run, and that's just weird. So yeah, I'm gonna hook on his elf sock, and then pull myself along to the point where I can then snapshot and fly off towards the manic children as I go.
Okay. This sounds risky.
Yeah.
So immediately one dark dice. You're using some sort of skill. There's the speed, or again the ricochet. I will allow it. Anything else you'd like to add to it?
So hang on, I've got one skill here, and I'm just going to do a quick googly search just to make sure that it is an address or communication emphatically urging someone to do something. Okay. I'm working on the assumption that Sockham isn't particularly antagonistic towards me.
Not yet.
Okay. In which case, I'm going to use my exhortation skill. I'll look to him, and rather than just kind of hook myself on his foot, I've got a plan. I've got a plan. Look, there's loads of children up there. So if I can get their attention, then I can bring them over to us, and then we can both get chosen.
Nice.
So I'm gonna I'm gonna ask Sockham to like latch on to me and then he can release me at the appropriate point, and we'll work together.
Great. That's one light, one dark.
Mhm.
Would anybody like to offer Ringo a devil's bargain for this role that is based upon this
I would
situation?
like to devil's bargain. So no matter what happens, once the ring sort of comes off that foot, actually, Sergeant Sockham Fistum's whole foot actually comes off as well. So the ring pulls the foot off, and it whacks one of your symbols out of your hand.
Oh.
Okay.
That's nasty. You can, like, if that's too much, you can adjust it a little bit by all means. So you don't have to take the whole thing, or you can hear from other people's suggestions and you can combine.
That's on the maybe pile.
I was going to sort of say, like, you managed to pull, run to the stage, and as you start bashing, obviously he comes, still pull for it, and then you get about, like, no matter what happens, you get, like, 2 seconds of clapping, and then you get knocked off the stage by a rocketed Sergeant Sockham McFisto.
He's pulled along with him.
Yeah, basically. Like, his momentum then pulls you, so you get that very comical, like,
Okay.
I will say, no matter what happens, you will attract the attention of children,
Yeah.
but not the child.
Okay, so there is the child is in view, presumably.
No, not the child, but children.
Yeah.
Different children, not the right child.
Okay.
You can feel it somewhere in your cortex, somewhere in your inner makings, that these children are not the child.
Sure. I will take your bargain, Chris. That I will attract the attention of children, and I'm going to take Carl's bargain that I drag Sockham with me, and then Sockham just wipes me out at the last moment.
Okay. Do you have anything to add, Lauren? Sorry, wet Leonard.
Oh, I'm happy with that. I don't have anything to add.
Okay.
So
Cool.
3 light, 1 dark.
Yeah.
Okay. I rolled a 4. I can add a dark die and re-roll.
Yep. If you wish to re-roll, you can add a dark die and re-roll.
I'm imagining in my head there's a
This slow mo Sergeant Sockham coming at you.
Wow.
Okay, I've
Nice.
re-rolled.
Okay. You get a pure success. No consequences, no other consequences apart from the devil's bargains that you've taken.
I can see that. So I feel like I can see. Potentially, I think I see the child, and I'm angling towards him, and as I'm getting happier and happier, then loads of feet start rushing towards me, and then Sockham boom, catches up with me, socks me in the side of the head, onto my side, and just start spinning in a circle on the ground as my string like winds back in.
Love it. As that happens, the children sort of pay attention. You see like 2, 3, 4 heads kind of turn on a swivel and look directly in your direction. One of them looks directly past you and sees the flying Sockham McFisto. and they run straight for it. You see one child pick it up, another child pick him up, another child pick him up, and another child pick him up. Each one of them has one limb. And they're all squabbling and arguing and crying. It's very loud.
He's been chosen.
Somewhere above in the sleigh, Wet Leonard, you can hear children crying, laughing, screaming. How do you feel?
I start to doubt myself. I've felt all my life that a child will protect me from the world and love me, but now these sounds that are reaching me, they don't sound safe. They strike fear into me.
We pan the camera back down to Ringo, who's, still like on the floor, kind of mid cymbal clash as the children pull, and you see one joint, another joint, and Sergeant Sockham McFisto is pulled, eviscerated into 5 pieces with the body just falling onto the floor. Ringo, please make me a ruin roll.
Okay, room roll. Oh my God, they're eating him, and then they're gonna eat me.
Your ruin goes up to 4, Ringo.
Okay.
How does this affect Ringo?
I feel like because I'm like a limited edition. There's a part of me that feels just like the self-worth, the value of a toy is like sacred, and I've just watched this like this popular toy. I mean, he's even more famous than Doug and the rest of the Transformers. And just like seeing, just as like like the arms come off, I could just see Sockham's head just like as he's flung around by the leg, and just for the first time in my short fuzzy life, the reality of my own mortality grips me, and I can immediately feel wrinkles forming around my eyeballs. My grossly protruding eyeballs. Like, little do I know that the big white semicircle bulbs protruding from my skull, there's the first lines of bloodshot veins creeping up the sides of them.
Yes, I love it. You see one child pick up what's left of Sergeant Sockham McFisto and like try and use it as some sort of like hammer in some sort of like 2001 AD sort of like
Oh God.
the head pops off and like rolls underneath a pram, which is then kind of the small child which is sitting in the pram looks over gleefully.
I'd like to imagine as a fellow toy, only I can hear him screaming.
Yeah.
You see the top of the head, the bottom of the neck has gone in the mouth, and the top of the head just kind of pulsating out of this small creature's face.
God. Oh God. Okay.
You hear the parents say, "The thing."
I suffice to say, I stopped clapping, and I wish to not draw more attention to myself right this moment.
The rest of you still in the sleigh witness this. How, like, does it affect any of you majorly? Witness this viscera happen.
I mean, to me, it was just another Jurassicon, so
I don't think Boomy's going to feel much effect because one, Boomy doesn't have a detachable head, and Boomy
Right.
knows that their age group is 7 and up.
So that's pretty safe.
Boomy,
Yeah, Boomy's safe.
Boomy, connect to Bluetooth and play Another One Bites the Dust.
Hey! Boomy will connect to the mall Wi-Fi and actually play it on the mall Wi-Fi, on the mall sort of speakers.
Out of the mall speakers just comes this like Christmas adjacent version of Another One Bites the Dust. Like it's all jingle bells. It's all sleigh bells and like weird horns and that sort of like mall Santa, sort of like mall flavored stuff. We will move on. Santa kind of coming away, noticing the dropped toy, noticing the Ringo toy as he comes back through. That's one of mine. He'll pick you up, stare at your eyes, and stare at what.
Clearly, a child has spilled some water on me because there's just two like streaks through the soot.
Will pick you back up and heads back up the elevator and then up the stairs to the roof. And you all hear him kind of boom, boom. He's got real heavy feet. This creature that has been hung onto and clung onto the back of the sleigh ducks back down and hides behind the sleigh. Do any of you do anything about this?
No.
Okay.
I think Boomy also has some sort of security system inside of it. So it will, you've got to still look after kids. You've still got to warn about stranger danger. And so Boomy will just loudly sort of scream, just like, "Ah, stranger, stranger, ah!" Quite loudly.
And you'll see Santa put Ringo back into the sleigh, now kind of like ruined, blackened, and still covered in soot, bloodshot
Cymbals
eyes,
shaking.
cymbals slightly shaking, threadbare, ruined.
Can I also add that the big red man is sort of a little bit grumpy as he just has like a second place rosette sort of attached.
Absolutely, absolutely. The big red man is pissed.
It's because he lost to like a traditional Santa, then the green and everything.
He's like, they don't know what got into them. I'll show them next year. He hops back onto the sleigh and sort of cracks his whip, and the sleigh kind of rises up out, and you feel it all sort of like jostle a little bit. A small a small doll like toy tumbles out of the sleigh to its potential doom and skitters across the glass top of the mall, and it is lost forevermore. I'd like you all to make a ruin roll, please.
Oh no. Oh no, I'm fine. I was looking at the
Yeah.
wrong ruin roll.
Yeah, this is what I thought. Great. So it's only no, everybody is fine. Everybody's fine. Nobody's ruin goes up. You
We're just
all
all like,
survive. You all survive this traumatic moment as we
Problematic.
peer
There's this
into the
T-Rex
bubble.
foot that appears just shortly before the toy goes flying.
Boom.
Oh no, she fell.
What a shame.
What a shame. 2 down.
Um,
I'm meant to be
you
the
get
heroic character. What the hell am I doing?
well. This is the way it works, I'm afraid. You feel the sleigh sort of like drift through into the night, and then eventually it settles onto a roof. And somewhere deep in your heart or your mechanics or whatever it is that is inside of you, you feel that this is the house that belongs to the child. You know that you're very, very close to home. Cookies and milk are definitely set out. Parents wane in stamina. The child, overstimulated, refuses to go to sleep, collapsing in a howling mess. Their plan to ambush Santa is foiled when they finally fall asleep. After a cold wait on the roof, the lights in the house go out. And down the chimney, you are all taken in the sack. What temptations do you see in the house, perhaps? What intrigues you in the house? What intrigues you in the living room, where you kind of fall out of the so-called fireplace, which, looking back on it, looks like an electric fireplace? You're not sure how that works. Magic, surely. You can hear the man in red laughing to himself and crunching on a cookie. What do you see inside this sleeping house? Let's start with Leonard. What's tempting you inside of this house?
So, Wet Leonard has had his eyes scrunched shut since the events at the mall, trying to put that horror to the back of his mind. The children, just think of the blankets, think of being cozy and cuddled. And as he hears the crunching, senses the child and the calmness around, he slowly opens up his eyes, and right ahead of him is this lovely plush couch draped in blankets with freshly plumped pillows,
Mm.
and he sort of peels the almost pulped cardboard off of his bottom, and sort of starts to try and release himself and make himself at home in the safety that is seems to be right in front of him.
I like it. Doug, what temptations do you see in this sleeping house?
He sees Transformer Saw colouring books and Transformer Saw comics. So he knows the kid knows him. He knows what he knows. He knows what he's about.
Nice. Ringo, what temptations do you see inside the house?
I see. What do I see? In my have I been desooted? Am I still kind of sooty?
Still sooty a little
Okay.
bit. You can be desooted if you want.
Sure. I can see. So from this, so it's like a. So from the room we're in, I can see through into an adjacent room, like the kitchen. And I can see, some washing up liquid on the counter. And I know that I need to have a quick spritz up to be presentable.
Cleanliness.
Yeah.
Love it. Boomy, what tempts you inside the house?
I think Boomy's just going to have like a scan, sort of like not moving its head, just its eyes, just sort of do this, just sort of scan around the house. Not seeing a hell of a lot. It sees the couch, it sees the colouring books, and then its eyes sort of scan over to the mantelpiece of this electric fireplace, where its eyes sort of bulge as its mouth sort of what you can probably might think is a smile, but it's just that as it notices an Amazon Echo Dot.
They've got Wi-Fi. Yeah.
And
Success.
something to connect to.
Yeah. Yeah. This is great. Have a think about where the ideal place for you might be, where you would want to be, so that you are the one that is chosen by the child. Have a think about that. And from on the couch, Wet Leonard, you also see this dark black creature, four-legged, with quite a hideous kind of like big, huge eyes, just kind of like sitting there, pawing at the blankets that are intended for you, making sure that it is the most comfortable. It looks over and sees that as you've been sort of left by the tree, a small piece of tinsel is hanging. Or is it that your tail is wagging without you knowing? And it sees something. It gets up and starts to come closer and closer. What do you do?
Well, I think, this creature obviously knows comfort. Um, I'm gearing up for a cuddle. I think this is going to be great. We're on the blankets. They're nice and furry. It's going to be great.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to make a risk roll. This is not this beast's intention, but it is your intention, which is great, which I'm going to take. Is there any skill that you'd like to use to persuade this dark, malevolent beast that you are a friend, not foe?
Well, my Bambi eyes feature may be appropriate.
Yeah. So you can definitely have one light dice. So it's one dark, one light. And we will ask for any devil's bargains.
I'll give you a devil's bargain. Like, no matter what happens, the cat baps you further under the tree, but it can't get to you after that, so it can't maul you anymore. So it tries to maul you, actually pushes you under the tree, but can't quite get to you.
But you are further away from the child.
That's
Oh,
safe. It doesn't do any damage to you. It baps you the once with its paw, and you just roll under the tree.
Forgotten. I like it.
I will offer that your plan works. No matter what happens, your plan kind of works too well. and this beast becomes infatuated with you. And you become its main source of bread kneading.
Boomy, do you have anything to offer, or are you
No,
don't feel like you have to?
no, I don't have anything. Those were all really good
Yeah,
deals, I think.
I like both of those deals a lot. I don't think I have anything better. Wet Leonard, would you like to take one of the bargains? Would you like to adjust one of those bargains? Would you like to not take those bargains?
I would like to take Ringo's bargain.
Okay. Because you still kind of get what you want, sort of. Nice. So that's one extra light dice. So that's 2 light, 1 dark, if you please.
Here we go.
Okay, with the highest being a 3, I will offer you a reroll, which means 1 more dark dice, which is 2 light, 2 dark, or you can take the consequence, which is also, which is not the devil's bargain. There is another consequence on top of it.
Are we allowed to amend the bargain?
I couldn't let you offer it. See what happens. I'm curious.
As an extension of my previous bargain, not only when I say that this beast is infatuated with you, the beast is also in heat.
Maybe that's the consequence. Yeah, I can take that as a consequence.
Because you are oh so fluffy.
And slightly moist.
And slightly moist, slightly wet, as we've already, yeah. Or you can re-roll, Leonard, Wet Leonard. It's up to you.
I
This is the decision. This is great.
I'd like to re-roll.
Then 2 light, 2 dark, please.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. There's still a consequence. You feel this playful bat with your tail. You feel this like playful kind of creature, and then you feel its hot breath on the back of your neck as you yourself are scruffed and dragged.
What have we done?
You end up on the sofa. How does Wet Leonard feel about being on the sofa? You're warm. You're cozy.
But also
You're getting some sort of cuddle.
yeah, but also getting slightly prickled. And I'm worried. I'm very concerned that perhaps my my bladder, which is the only organ in my body, it's, my whole body is a bladder. I'm worried that the prickling might not be compatible.
Especially with that slightly damaged rubber ring that we spoke about. Slightly
I'm
damaged.
very aware that, while taking comfort in it, it's perhaps not completely free of risk.
I'm afraid you're also going to get a condition, which you don't have. I'm going to put the condition restrained. Because currently you are in the clutches of a beast that doesn't want to let you go. How do all of you feel about this? How do the rest of you feel about seeing Wet Leonard be dragged off into the comfort?
I mean, different strokes, different folks. I guess that's.
Boomy, how do you feel about it?
Boomy's still heavily preoccupied by the Amazon Echo Dot. They're not looking. It's not looking at anything else.
So
Presumably, you talk, right, Boomy?
Yeah.
Have you engaged in a conversation with this dot?
Not through. Only through the Wi-Fi. It's trying to sort of probably try and gain access to the Wi-Fi through the Echo Dot.
I like it. I mean, I'm willing to take that as a move that you'd like to do.
Yeah, go for it.
So I think risk-wise, I think the risk is basically in that there's something in the network that might be damaging towards you. What skill might you like to use?
Probably electronics.
Yeah, that sounds fair to me. That sounds fair. That's one light, one dark. Would anybody like to offer a devil's bargain?
No matter what, like once you're connected to the network, you have to you obey commands as given like an Alexa.
Right.
And if that comes to play, I have something I'd like to do.
No matter what, you are like malware installs itself on you. So intermittently, you will play CBAT. Is that what it's called? Yeah, it's CBAT, right?
What's that one?
You tell me, Dan.
Hudson Mohawk. It's the song that no one can have sex to.
Also you claim.
Also, you claim, yeah.
So you claim.
Legends say.
Legends say. Wet Leonard, do you have a devil's bargain for Boomy?
I'd like to offer that whatever happens, it puts considerable strain on your battery charge. And yeah, you will probably need to be plugged in before any more strenuous electronical activity.
That could give you like a condition of drained or something like that. That would be quite nice. I'm going to add to it, and just to give like Boomy like kind of analysis paralysis, probably too much. But I love all of this, but I'm also gonna add that like no matter what, because the router is a paranoid router, it immediately installs some sort of Norton on your system, and your entire operating system is consumed, and you cannot anymore record data. You cannot learn anymore. The firewall is too strong.
Oh.
Would it be too much to suggest a child lock?
A child lock. Yes.
Like...
Oof. Woofer.
We have hit the nail firmly on the head. This is great. You don't have to take one, remember? You can adjust them.
But all of them sound really fun.
Pick and choose.
I think I'm going to go, because I'm interested to see what other suggestion Carl has. So I'm going to go for Carl's one.
So no matter what, you now take instructions like an Alexa.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to just take that one.
Okay, great. That's 2 light, 1 dark, if you please.
Roll.
Wow. 5s all round, but it does mean that your ruin goes up by 1.
In that case, can I do a reroll?
You can do a reroll, yeah.
Okay.
Unless you want to get to ruin 5, because then you can start to really mess with it with other people.
Ooh. Yeah, go on then. Go up to room 5. Let's do it.
This is where it gets very interesting. We're quite close to the end, and I'm hurrying a little bit. So you get what you want. You get connected, but the consequence, I think, is going to be the fact that even though you've got access to the internal network, you can't get access to the external network. You are locked into this house, and you now take instructions like an Alexa.
Right. With that, sort of like you see Boomy sort of kind of like its eyes are sort of like twinkling different colors while it's trying to sort of connect. But then after sort of a while, it sort of goes ping. Its eyes sort of go into like a blue ring, much like an Alexa, and its mouth is just stuck open, and it's just sat there like no pupils, just a blue ring in this eye, and its mouth is open.
Doug transforms into robot mode, puts his arm around Boomy, and then whispers in his ear, "Boomy, play the Transformer Saw theme song on all devices."
Boomy just goes in the Alexa voice, no longer sounding like Boomy, says, "Playing the Transformosaurus theme song on all devices found on Spotify," and then it sort of plays. Really? Oh no, it would be Amazon Music. It would play from, not Spotify.
And then Doug
Yeah,
walks
like-
into the middle of the room, just.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Keeping that in mind, keeping in mind that Wet Leonard is currently restrained. Doug, Ringo, Boomy, where would you like to be when the child wakes up?
Literally middle of the room right now, just like in robot mode, getting ready to accept as like the theme song is just playing throughout the entire house. He's like, "Boomy, volume up, volume up."
Yeah, the volume goes up. Boomy's going to be sitting next to the Alexa on the mantelpiece.
You're getting along nicely.
Mm.
Nice. Ringo, where would you like to be?
Well, I mean, I'm beelining for the kitchen. I feel like I've already made it up onto the kitchen counter, and using one of my symbol hands, I've knocked over the bottle of fairy liquid, and it's just like I'm in the sink, just getting drenched in the green goo, and yeah. So now, covered in the soap, I want to start. I want to turn on the tap and then just start like washing myself as best as I can with big symbol hands. Like maybe rubbing myself backwards and forwards on the sink grate, like the sink tray, just doing that. Maybe hold one of those like bristle like hand brush things, just clamp that between the two symbols and then just wiggle in front of it a little bit.
You notice as all of this is going on, a large feminine presenting figure appear in the doorway to the kitchen, and the kitchen light is currently off, and you just see this shadowy figure, and then the shadowy figure is lit up by this large white device as the door is opened to the fridge.
Yeah.
And their face is lit up by this illuminous white glow.
And they're probably wondering why on earth all of the speakers are playing the Transformosaurus.
The fridge even has like a fridge is like a Samsung smart fridge.
As the fridge opens, like, Transformosaurus.
They turn and they look at you, and they say, "You're not supposed to be out of your box yet."
So have I started the washing, or am I just covered in fairy liquid?
You started the washing.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. In which case, I'll just have to stop. Like with the brush in hand in the sink.
They pick you up, like dripping wet. Like, what am I gonna do with you, eh? And they offer you some sort of bargain that inside repulses you. What is it?
A bargain that repulses me.
I have an off.
Restyle your mohawk into like a nice sweeping sort of like cowlick.
I guess the thing is, because I was under the tap, like the
Yeah.
mohawk would be drooping.
Yeah.
Um,
It's gone into a comb over.
yeah, yeah. Okay, because the coat that I'm like the jacket I'm wearing is made from real denim. So that's just utterly soaked. So she's going to offer to take my jacket off, my sleeveless denim jacket off, so it can dry. But that is integral to my glam rock identity. I'm nothing without my denim coat. I would be indistinguishable from a not glam rock Ringo.
Oh,
Nice. Time has been my enemy, literally, but I've enjoyed making this like a hell of a lot. We will really swiftly fast forward to what happens on Christmas Day because time has got away with me. How do each of you try and force your way into the child to be the one that is chosen? Let's try and make this quick and start with Boomy.
Boomy has no sort of sentience of its own now. Boomy is just the Alexa. So Boomy can't really do much. Boomy is now, I'm guessing, sort of like it's Christmas morning.
Mm.
The adults in the house have not really noticed. They've just come in and just gone like, "Oh, Alexa, play, Christmas playlist." And Boomy is just sort of sat there, no longer able to sort of have any autonomy to itself, and is just playing.
Are you just like a passenger in the back of your own mind?
Yeah,
Yes.
you can hear Boomy just screaming for external connections as it plays Happy Christmas, War is Over.
Let's travel round to Wet Leonard. Wet Leonard, do you ever escape the trials of the beast?
Well, I think, unlike me, the beast goes outside to urinate.
Takes you with it.
Well, yeah, at some point it carries me and sort of it tries to pull me through the cat flap a few times, but I think perhaps I just get stuck. I get stuck in the cat flap, and it leaves me, and so I try and push my way back into the house, and in a desperate attempt to get back to the tree as the cat flap presses down and squeezes the last few droplets out of my leaking valve.
Ringo,
Yeah.
what happens after you're washed and restyled?
The very tall fen child that picked me up from the sink, after realizing that my mohawk is stylable, completely gets the wrong end of the stick. And I'm handed off. Like, she believes that I am an existing toy of the
Right.
child's
Yes.
toddler
Because you're
sister.
so filthy still.
Still, yeah. Like I'm cleaned. I'm put in. Like I'm washed up. I'm put in the boiler room, like where the boiler
To
is.
dry.
And when I come out, all of my fur is like puffed. And where I now look like a really cutesy little thing, I'm handed off to the sort of like 3-year-old toddler sister. And
Love it.
from these unblinking bloodshot eyes, I just look across the scene of devastation of all of the like Barbie dolls that have just been like drawn on with felt tip marker and like styled, and like one of them's got a skirt like over her arm, and I realize that I'm destined to become a dress up doll for the rest of my existence.
Whilst we were preparing this, I rolled a dice. I don't roll dice in this game. I rolled a 1, which is why I've left Doug until last.
Oh god.
Doug, you are the one that was chosen by the child.
I can imagine as Boomy sort of like gets his 1,000-yard stare, he just looks into Boomy's eyes like, "Three down." As soon as he sees like wet Leonard pulled out, 4 down. Sees like Ringo being carried away. Transforms back into his T-Rex and does like the Jurassic Park as Christmas tinsel falls down in front of him.
You are picked up and played with and played with and played with and transformed, despite your slightly unhinged head still not quite working. And blaring out from the speakers every now and again is and we will close on that beautiful vision of Doug getting what they wanted, what He-Rex wanted. Shall I say, using the correct pronouns for He-Rex. And I would love to thank our players. So first of all, I'm going to thank Carl playing as Doug, who's sitting over here. And I'm going to thank Dan playing as Ringo, who's sitting over here somewhere. And I'm going to thank Lawrence for jumping in the very last moment down in the bottom, down there.
Up there.
For playing Wet Leonard beautifully and wonderfully. And then finally, I'm going to thank Nate sitting over in this corner over here somewhere as Boomy, the fearful, the dreaded AI beast that you were. Thank you all. Please don't have nightmares about Christmas. Might
Don't
be
have
too late.
existential crisis.
Don't have an existential crisis. Enjoy yourself. Merry Christmas. And remember, if in doubt, wear striped tights.
And to all a good night.
And to all a good night.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Doodaloo.